another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
This is Marble69 and welcome to the Everything 2 modpacks. Modpack. Sorry, pardon my English. So this is the RimCities mod, and if you click over here, you can change. These are the internal styles in the mod, and I've searched a lot for a style which is good. It changes the sounds, the menus, the background, everything. So I usually look inside here. So it has a transparent background with little patterns, and of course we have cyberpunk style for random and a lot of others. But I settled down now with a more readable style, which don't have transparent background, and that is Singularity. Because it has transparent background, it's really well readable and has little colored flowers, so I will stay with it. But the thing, after you subscribe to the modpack and downloaded that little file I put on the paste bin and paste it to the right directory and load it in, I think I should show that before talking a lot. So let's just go inside the mods. And after they came up, here are the mods. So after you did all the things I wrote down on the mod collection page, you will discover that here is an Everything 2. And if you press this button, this modpack will load in. It shows some problems, so that Project Refactory Revived is not compatible with Startup Impact, and D9 framework new version could be downloaded from the GitHub, but if you don't care about this, it's not a problem. I also tried to press this auto sort mod list, but somehow it pulled in some mods from here which I didn't like, and some mods were not compatible, so let's just stay on here. And now here comes the long list, and pardon me for some hiccups when I will tell about all the mods in here, because then I just pause the recording and go about my business for a time. Harmony is an all-encompassing library which helps mod makers to make better mods. That's it. You don't need to know any more about this. ModCheck is a mod which encourages compatibility between mods, so it is a good thing. Core, this is the game. And for royalty owners, here will be a royalty. Startup Impact is a mod which shows you that meanwhile it's loading in the game, how much time it spends on different mods, and I will just jump over and show it to you. On the main screen, you have this little Startup Impact. It shows you that code devs and load devs and load mod XML and loading language data and other dev binding and not measured and mods and not directly related to mods. All the things. The main thing I use here is I consider the mods which has a huge stripe associated with them. Do I need them or not? But most definitely we need savor ships too. And I will tell you about why just a bit later. Forgive me, it wasn't such a nice transition. Next thing is Mod Manager, which is this. And you need to install this manually, which is not hard, you just click it in. And after that, you know already, you just press this and mod list will load in. Huxlib, it is also a backup mod, a helping mod, a mod which brings in new stuff for mod makers to use, just like JaxTools. With JaxTools, I had a little problem, because this is the old version, working perfectly, but there is a new unofficial version, and you couldn't subscribe both of them. If you subscribe to the unofficial version, this will be deleted. If you subscribe this, the unofficial 1.2 version will be deleted. So you only can have one of them at the same time. But I tried the Jax Tools version, which is unofficial and 1.2, and a lot of mod complain that it is bad and not work with this that mod, so I used the older version. It runs for me without problems, so why not? Better mod mismatch window. This is the before, this is the after. So when you are loading the save, in the vanilla you just get this list you cannot really see, and with this mod you can get a scroll wheel scrollable list of what mods are in the save and which are missing, and you can either load the mods in the save file or just load anyways and try your save with the new mod pack arrangement. That's performance analyzer. This is an in-game performance analysis mod, and I will show you later how it goes. It's enough for now that you have really detailed information while you are playing the game, that which goes where and how long. Runtime GC, this is a modded memory management program. I will show you later, just before. Rim saves, it's a safe handling system. You can have different directories and really a lot of options about save game handling. Rim themes, I just showed this to you just before on the main screen. Architect icons, it's a simple mod. Just bring little pictures beside the text in the menu, the architect menu. Better spots is just a nicer graphics for those stationary places where you are making marriages, handling parties, forming caravans, making stuff for butcher without any crafting table, just to signify the place. Interaction bubbles. When your colonies start talking, it's just like in a cartoon, not a cartoon, a comic book. You get little speech bubbles above their heads. Over alerts. Better alerts if there is something problematic with your power system. As you can see, not enough fuel icon, things like that. Item list selector. On the left side of the screen, you have this what materials and components you have in your inventories, and if you double click on a row, then it automatically will choose them on the map or select them. Visible pants. You just show the pants you are wearing, your pants are wearing. Terrain, it's a little texture mod. It changes the texture of gravel, soil and rich soil, so you can see them better on your map. Show draftee's weapon. When you draft a pawn, under it, its currently used weapon will be shown, so it's an indication mod. Damage indicators, just a little floating numbers indicating the damage caused. Better vanilla masking. It's a texture-ish overhaul. If you make, for example, this art table from a different material, it will change the texture. Blueprints. You can make blueprints and place them down and save them and load them. Color-coded mood bar. I use this, simple, effective on the top. If the mood is good, then it's green. If it's bad, then it's red, and all in between. Character editor. It's a cheaty thing, but I need it for the mod development, so please be silent. Also, you can save and load your characters, anything except things like magical abilities and maybe vampiric abilities won't be counted. But with this, not only cheaty modifications of your in-game characters is possible, but also if you have some really laggy playthrough or something like that, just choose your best characters, save them, restart another playthrough and load your characters in. It works. Camera Plus makes it possible to magnify and go out really far away on the map. Wikirim is a searchable wiki button down here, and it's made from all the in-game text, so it's really good. You don't need to look up exactly the item, just go here, type its name, and you will find out anything about that. Tabs mean minimap. You can configure this, where is it, how big it is, what colors it uses, and it's a minimap, really good for discovering things which on the map. Awesome inventory. It's another take on the RPG inventory, and it's good. Try it out. Reward search agency. it puts little search boxes into a lot of in-game menus. Relations tab, you will see, I will show it. It's a tab button down here on the bottom of the screen, and you can check out your colonists and the factions relations. Numbers is good. It's an information panel for everything, and you can set up to use this instead of a lot of other tabs. It's freely configurable, nice and good. Smart speed, it unlocks the 4th speed option, and you can even use quicker time in events when you are attacked by raid, for example. Medical tab, medical stuff to set up. Research panel, a total overhaul of your research window. The main points are auto simplify and unification of your research stuff, and you are able to arrange a line of research, which if you just click them all, and they will be all researched in order. Work tab, it's a more complicated work tab. I will show this in game. Rimworld, this is the information display about the selected character or creature, and you can set up what to show, and it's really good. You will see. Labels on floor, if you have an area or a special room, it will be written what is it. Recipe icons, little icons for the text. Optional icons for architect, more icons. Bionic icons, more icons. Rename colony, I will show you where. I searched for it a lot, and there is a little button here you can use, but you can rename everything with this. Show mod designators, it's a really good thing for people who, just like me, like to put mods in and take mods out, because in the information panel there will be another line at the bottom in parentheses with the mod name. So if you are searching that which mod put this item in, it's simple. Fertile planet increases overall fertility everywhere, more vegetation, more plants. Map reroll. This is like after your playing map is generated, you get a little dice icon on the upper right corner, and if you press it, you can reroll the map, reroll the geysers. It is setupable, so basically it takes away natural resources at every reroll, but you can switch it off, and you can have a more perfect but still randomly generated map to play on. You will spend a lot of time on that map, so I think it's useful from the fun side. Impossible map marker makes it possible to be set up camp, go through and actually settle your colony in the impossible parts, and you can set it up how they would look like. Alpha biomes. I think it's an alien planet, and it contains a lot of alien biomes, as you can see in this. Realistic planets, fun update. This thing, I think. Okay, so this is good for 3 things. More options for planet creation, more gradual biome changes, so not an ice sheet beside a hot desert, no more. And the third thing is that factions are arranged into groups, so not just randomly sprinkled, forming nations. Map designer, I haven't really used this, but the name catch my fancy, so you can remove this or try to use this, I don't know really. But this RimCities Citadel upgrade, this puts ruined cities into the game, and 3 different startups, the Ghost City, the Abandoned City, and the Friendly City start. You just drop down to the planet, but in an already occupied city, and try to live with them or kill the monsters and things like that. And there are other cities you can search out, look out, explore and steal stuff from it. Real ruins, it's almost a multiplayer thing. The game uploads your bases to a server, and your game randomly downloads other people's bases and put it into the game just like ruins. So it has a really small chance to actually randomly generate in a pristine or not ruined useful base into the game, and it's a new event, and you need to hurry because all the other non-player factions will be notified too, and they will be sending their exploration-rubber teams to loot that base. It makes the game really interesting and with a lot of variance, I think. Encounter map resources makes if you are have an encounter or just set up camp, there will be resources on that map. So I use this mainly in the beginning stages to form a caravan, go to another map hacks and mine it out. Set up camp makes it possible, of course. There was just one setting I needed to do, which is there is a setting that rather I will show it to you. Here we are. This. I think it's default 60. So if you leave a place where you have set up a camp, you cannot do anything with it for 60 days. So I just set it back to 1 day. There is another resources. Yes, permanent caps. Yes, this don't work. So disabling will remove empty camps. They are not removed. They are inoperable, unenterable for this many days. So you need to be careful. Good. As you can see, the most mods are just little ones. Use bedrolls. You are using bedrolls from your inventory. Really good. Alpha Animals is the companion mod for Alpha biomes, alien biomes with alien animals. And it puts in more mechanoids, not only animals. So you don't need any other mod which puts in more mechanoid factions and things like that. Call of Cthulhu series. If you never read from H.P. Lovecraft anything and you like good horror, please do. And these are based on his work, the Call of Cthulhu series. And cults makes you being able to make evil cults which are worshipping outer gods which are evil and you don't want to meet with them. And of course you can be the enemy of these set cults. And there are factions for this. And of course cosmic horrors, which are horrifying enemies which are hurting you just by looking at them. So you don't want to meet with them, that's why I put it in. And of course, who won't like huge spiders which are catching you and cocoon you up and then slowly suck the life force out of you? This is arachnophobia, and you can milk them for spider silk if you just make friends with them. And you have the good old street jackets. This is good because if you had a pawn who was, for example, really alcoholic and you couldn't forbid him or her to take alcohol, the only solution was that you cut off their legs. Now, just make a straight jacket, put on him or her, and he or she won't drink anymore till it's on her or him. Prepare landing. You can choose and search for the ideal hex on a huge world. At the beginning, it's really good. And of course, anytime you open the map, so later too, you can use this searcher application mod. Close settlements. There is a malus if you are making a settlement too near to one another, as you can see 4 ties or mirror, and that makes problems with the faction relations. It is no more. You can be close, it's no problem. Sorry, there was a metal drummer in the neighborhood. So it removes the problem with close settlements and relations. Crash landing. It's a new start. You can actually reach the planet's surface at the time when the burning parts of your original broken up ship arrives too and crash down and blows up and making fires. It's a very fun start. You should try it. And orbital traders who are just interested in animals. You can actually set up a spot where the orbital traders will drop their stuff you buy. And this vanilla expanded framework is important because they contain the Orion's faction discovery, an older and nicer mod is, which made possible if you put into the game a mod, a faction mod later, then it would be secretly generated on the planet while you are playing, and you can discover them that there wasn't any cults faction yet, but I put in a mod, and now, oh, there is a cult, and there is a cult, and there is a cult. So this mod was integrated into this one, and a lot of other mods later made this mod too. So it's in Colony Manager. You can install several kinds of tech levels of manager tables, and I will show it in the game. If you install one table and you interact with the manager button down here, you can set up repeating jobs, like cutting down trees and milking animals and killing your animals and collect berries and mine out resources, and those were automatically assigned to your colonists as jobs. So it makes your game have less micromanagement. You can specify kinds of resources you want and the areas where you want to do them. Okay, big one, Rimworld of Magic. It makes magic possible, a lot of spells, a lot of different kinds of magic users, and it has equal amount on the fighter side too. So almost magic like fighters, paladins, monks, those kinds of stuff, wanderers, just like Aragorn was in Lord of the Rings. All is possible now. And vampires too, because why not? It seems to be really, really similar to the role-playing game from a company called White Wolf, Vampires. I think the letters are looking similar, I don't know, but different clans of vampires having different sets of powers. Facial stuff, eyes, beards, hands, foot, stuff like that. Good one. Prepare carefully. It's, as I've seen in other people's YouTube playthroughs, it's almost a necessity to have this mod. If you don't like the random generation, you can use a point-based generation or a totally free one to start up your little party, what kind of stuff they have, what are their exact abilities and skills, things like that. Really good. Immortals, who didn't so Highlander, you need to kill them all because there can be only one and you get the power. There is just two things you need to know about this. One of them is how to cut down the head of your enemies, which I will show you in game. And the other thing that I think I will speak about that in game too, that you need to deactivate animal random chance to be an immortal. But more of it, more on it later. Tech advancing. Did you know that if you choose tribal start, you never ever could research high tech? So this mod makes that possible. So even with a tribal start, and even you will have a hard time researching that, you still can keep advancing as much as you want into the tech levels. And tech block is also a research thing. It blocks you researching tech above your current tech level, but it makes it in a funny way. It's configurable and you need to research your tech level to a certain setup able percentage, and then and only then you can research the next year. I consider it's a fun and good mod, so you don't get immediately going to high tech even if you don't know a lot of stuff about simple things. This is a really good starting mod for tribal starters, for example, because bone is almost like a resource like wood, except it couldn't burn, of course, but you can make a lot of things from it. And of course, anything you are butchering gives you bones, bones, and more bones. So you can have sets and machines and even walls from bones. And it helps you, helping you a lot when your little party has only low plant skill and it takes ages to cut out trees. Smoked meat is the other one, which is really good for a tribal start, for example, because you can smoke on little campfires or big smoking houses. Not only meat, not only all kinds of meat, but all kinds of vegetables too. And smoked meat and vegetables, if consumed, give I think a +3 bonus to mood. And also anything smoked in these smoking houses get a 30, not 13, but 30 day of freshness before going wrong. And as you know that tribals don't have refrigerators, it helps you to keep alive alongside with the bones mod. In the beginning, medieval times unofficial. I searched for a good mod which has a lot of medieval craft, not only armor and weapons, but castle parts and big weapons, siege weapons, and even factions, medieval factions. And I found this, and I don't want it to set up a limit that you can maximum research medieval tech and nothing about it. So this was the right choice for me. I even can compare this to the vanilla factions, medieval factions expansion, and I think this is better. Have more stuff and have more useful stuff. It even has its own smoking house, but that won't help your little tribe in the beginning. Glitter tech. I choice of tech mod first. If it's not enough, then I will change it for something other, or if you can advise me of a good tech mod. I think it has all the things: power generation, weapons, armor, enemies, everything. But be careful, because if you research too much glitter tech and have too much in your base, then the tax collectors will come in the form of invisible and godly powered glitter tech commandos to take it away. So be prepared. You know why it is good to have plants on rich soil, and I had before a tilling mod for this, but it is more perfect because it's more immersive. You can make clay, sand, dirt, gravel, and those kinds of stuff in this mod, and terraform slowly and carefully your environment, so filling up swamps instead of drying out with the most moisture pump could be better. And it has a whole system of irrigation and not irrigation but fertilization system, yeah, which you can switch off if you don't like it. Dub's RimKit just makes two kits, medic and the toolkit. Toolkit makes you repair and craft stuff a bit quicker while taking durability damage. Same for the medkit and curing people. ED embrochures. I couldn't exist without this mod. Even when a lot of other mods in this pack gives you different kinds of sandbags and shields and cover to hide behind, I think this is the best. Little holes in the wall. Any space which is enclosed by embrochures considered outside, so please take care of that. And temperature and air flows freely. But if you sit just right behind it, it provides you with cover. Don't try to shoot through it from further away, because it can hit the embrasure then. But if you are sitting or standing right behind it, then it's good. I've put in Misc robots. It's just two kinds of little Roombas. One of them is cleaning, the other is hauling stuff for you. There is an expansion for this for any kind of jobs, but I don't like them because there is another mod which makes drones and event nanites to do your job. And I thought that if only robots do the jobs, then your colonists will not be better and better in their skills. So I left it out. And the mod I mentioned, and it is compatible, or maybe not, but who cares, the game runs. You can play Factorio in Rimworld with this. You can have belts which transfer your stuff, and automatic machines which are doing crafting and recipes and furnaces and stuff like that. And it even has drone and non-it clouds to do your jobs for you, for example harvesting plants and planting plants, just like that. And this is a little patch for that mod. Doors expanded. More doors. Should I tell more? No. STRs expanded. It makes possible, beside your little drop pods, to have bigger and bigger utility and combat ships. They are just one item, you put them down and use them, not modular. Power Plus, it's a high-tech mod, and you will be able to transfer power wirelessly between your settlements, because you can have more settlements in this mod, and you even will have a little portable one to satisfy your camping needs, camping power needs. Backup power, it's a little component, metal cupboard you can put on different generators and set up minimum and maximum stored power amount percentages, so they activate only when your base is low on power and switch off when it is high. RT Fuse and Fuse Plus gets fuses into the game. You know, when you have a problem with your electrical system, different cables can blow up and damage their surroundings and your batteries get drained. These are against that, only the fuses will blow or just switch off and you need to switch them back up and nothing will be damaged. Metallic batteries, different kinds of better batteries. This is one of them which makes better batteries. You build them from different materials and you get different bonuses. Okay, Mad Science. Genetic Rim is the stuff when you can combine animal, monster and human gains to make unholy creations and modify your bounds. And there are patches to the alpha, alien animals and the cosmic horrors. So there is a lot in this, I think. Mend and recycle. You can mend your stuff. If they got low durability, you can set them up in the mending bench to be repaired. Originally, they needed a mending pack you needed to make, but I couldn't use that, so in my setup, I just deactivated the need for mending kits for mending. But you will see in your playthrough. VGP Vegetable Garden. I think it makes better plantable plants, vegetables, things, trees for your game than the vanilla expanded plants. So I got this. I would tell that red lentil is really good because it's good instead of meat, so you can grow your vegetable meat and use it as meat, especially if you smoke it. Quarry 1.1. You can build a small and a big quarry and mine out chunks, mine out bricks, or mine out random resources as you wish. Simply more bridges. The vanilla bridges can only hold up light structural and stuff, but these bridges can hold up heavy stuff and or go over deep water. Wall light. It's a strange one now. It makes you possible to put down wall lights and wall growing lights. And the description says that wall growing lights are included in this. And of course, if it don't work for you, you can install this plant growing wall light in your pack beside this wall light. But it says now that it's included, but I couldn't find it, so I don't know. I couldn't put this plant growing wall light by Murmur into the pack because it wasn't for 1.2 and I couldn't select it in the collection. You will see. Hospitality. It makes possible to set up guest areas, trading areas, which I don't know how, so please tell me. And you can make friends with those guests, raising factual relationships. So it's good for diplomacy. I will show the mod for diplomacy later in this list. Beautiful outdoors modifies outdoor plants and stuff to be more beautiful. So any pawn who is going to have a stroll in a forest finds it more beautiful than in the vanilla game. Expanded roofing is the better roofing mod. You can make roof windows which lets in light, which means your pawns won't feel they are entombed and have cabin favor. But you even can have solar panels on your roof with this mod. So that's fine. Open the windows, the high-tech ability to cut holes in the walls and let in light by covering them with transparent surfaces. There are a lot of kind of windows, even armored ones. Fridges for your stuff, which are using electricity. Misc training. 3 training targets, one for archery, one for shooting, and one for melee attacks. It is a... how do you say it? They will feel anti-trained, they will receive joy from this and skill increase too. Deep storage, it's a must mod. With the fridges, you can make different containers which can hold up stacks of your stuff, not putting them on the floor. In most cases, if the area is roofed and your stuff in shelves or containers or these things, then they won't deteriorate, even if considered to be outside. Trading spot, a spot where the traders will go. Ambrosial longevity. Ambrosia is a randomly occurring plant which you can grow later in hydroponics. By this mod, it will receive an ability to make the people who consume it younger. It's a good thing. Vanilla fishing expanded, my first used vanilla mods ever. You can designate an area to fish in it, and it's good. In the setup I made fishing quicker because it takes ages and your pawn will totally deteriorate after fishing experience. And minimal size which you can designate for fishing, I made it 9 blocks, so made it smaller in the setup. Dustbed hygiene. It makes a totally different kind of temperature management and water management by making the needs for your pawns to go to toilet and wash themselves and drink water. It's interesting but balanced and integrates well to other mods if you go into the setup and tick the mods you have in, just like say warships do. This is the big one. This makes possible that you really build a functional ship in every way when you escape the planet. And with that ship you can go around and land on other planets, then come back to your old safe planet. So it extends the game infinitely between saves, between planets, and you can begin your next adventure actually landing with a non-crash ship on the planet. It's good. And we have an extension for it. You notice the STRS extension, more of it later. Boom Boom Spray. Predators will hunt boomalopes and boom rats and boom things, because with the boom mod they only explode if you shoot at them with firearms or explosives. So hand weapons or arrows won't get them blown up. AutoCut Blight. It's a blessing of a micromanagement mod. Any plant got blighted gets tagged for cutting automatically. Area Unlocker. You can define as many areas as you wish. Mortar accuracy. Mortars will be more accurate and will lead their shots if the targets are moving. But and pew in hot and cold areas, your pawns will do this and try to leave that area. Avoid friendly fire. It's a toggleable ability. When you are in combat, you won't shoot if it could hit your own people or animals. Really useful for being and staying alive. And with this mod, rain will remove filth, blood and dirt on areas where they can be rained, of course. Just ignore me passing, another good mod. You can build stuff and do stuff when another pawn goes through there on the same tile. Stack XXL makes stacks bigger. allow tool, you can allow and disallow things to do, you will see. Toggle harvest, you will allow sowing and harvest. For example, if you want to change a corn patch into a cacao bush patch, you allow harvest but don't allow sowing, so they will harvest it first, it will be empty, and then you will allow sowing and change the plants that way without any inconveniences. Carrying capacity fixed. This makes carrying capacity more complicated and actually better and more if your pawns are strong and stuff like that. You can manage workbenches better, I mean really better. You can link them and you can copy and paste material composition and stuff like that. Really good one, try it. Change map edge limit. You can build on the edges on the map more. You can walk by windmills and they actually just cover this area, not the empty seeming tiles beside them. It makes old systems, of course, not connecting. If two of the turbines were in vanilla connecting, you now need to put down two power cables between them. Vein miner. If you click the outside of an ore vein, all of them will be tagged for mining. Eclipse and solar flares won't last ages and are less often, sorry. Locks. You can lock your doors differently. For example, only one of your colonists can use them, or guest can't use them, only your colonist, stuff like that. Of course, after you set it up, at least one colonist needs to go through there to set it up. Wild animal sex. I nominate this mod for the best named mod ever. Wild animals make children. Animal logic. Animals will behave more intelligently. Nothing more to say. Dumps break mod. Breaks will be handled more intelligently, better. Grim rarity. You just crash landed on an alien planet and or you are a tribe who is living just there. So maybe not eating from a table won't incite you to burn the whole colony. So it's more immersive, both of them. Dead man's clothing is just for me, so if you get off a pant from a dead people, it don't have any negative modifier. If you don't like it, just remove it, because in the previous mod, which makes hygiene needed, there is a washing machine, and if you put a dead man's clothing through a washing machine, it will remove the negative modifier too. So if it's too much for you, that's the solution. Skilled stone cutting, it brings back the old setup. When you cut stone, it will give you experience in crafting, even if it's just a little. Very good to raise beginner crafter skills. Hands are not outside. It modifies all full body armor that they cover your hands too. Simple sidearms. You can assign a main weapon and a sidearm for your colonists. So, for example, a minigun and a knife, and they will use the latter if you are getting into melee. Just one thing in the setup. Here, I think it's maybe here. No. Here. No. Here. No. Or perhaps here. No. How big the sidearm could be. It's not so simple, sidearm. Just let me look around a bit, please. And here it is. So simple sidearm, miss tab. Weapon dropping criteria. Never. I hate when they drop their long range weapon when they get hit. So you can just deactivate it here. Alright. Repair stuff. You can repair buildings. So if you want to make a wood wall, from a wood wall, granite wall, you just put the granite wall on the wood wall, and instead of scrapping the wood wall and then building the granite wall on it, you just build the granite wall on it, and when the granite wall is finished, then the wood will drop out. not sound much, but it's really good, believe me. Minify everything. You can minify most of the thing. You know, the minifying thing is when you, for example, minify a solar panel, you just pack it away in a box, which is an item, and you can put it on a shelf. It's really making easier if you need to rebuild your base or just move your base. Don't block door. This is a blessing too. Nothing could be dropped in a door. For example, if you have a freezer room and you just drop one thing in the door, it stays open and all the stuff will be stale and go bad. No more of that. Don't block the door. You need this, believe me. Common sense. Pawns will behave if they have more common sense, and it means a lot. Just play with it, try it. Pick up and haul and jobs of opportunity makes hauling more intelligent. It's really good. They won't spend so much time to hauling things because, for example, jobs of opportunity. If this man goes here and in his way there are more stuff to bring here, he will do it. With pick up and haul, they have a carrying capacity. So if there are more stuff, they can pick up and they easily can carry it. Why not carry all? Metal doesn't burn. I think the name says it all. I don't know why I use this version. I've seen a lot of mods which do this from a lot of people. I found this, for example. Realistic rooms. Your pawns has a minimum requirement of the size of their rooms, which I think may be a bit oversized in vanilla. So why would I need a room size huge temple just to sleep in? It makes room sizes more sensible, more smaller. Rimworlds. So with saver ships, you have functional spaceships. With Rimworlds, you have space, asteroid mining, space pirates, abandoned stations infested with aliens, and even more stars for your game. So you can begin a wrecked ship, but you won't fall onto the planet, but you have to survive on the ship, for example. Or an infested station, and you need actually collect stuff and escape to the planet from that infected station. These kinds of new starts and more advanced level of gameplay when you go up into the space will be available for you. Alpha ships is just a huge expansion for Rimworlds, more kinds of ships, raiders, etc. Places to meet and see. Rimworld Threaded. I referenced the diplomatic mod before. This is a mod which has a non-threaded and a threaded version. The threaded version is more recent and worked for me better. And this makes all the faction-related events non-random. So if you have an enemy settlement nearby, they may send scouting parties or even warbands to try to destroy you. But there is no randomness involved in it. So, no, oh, I just rolled a raid for you. No, those raids need to be sent from somewhere nearby or sent by drop pods. And you have a total diplomacy system. I will show this in the game. And it works really good with that beginning planet generation options when the factions are arranged to national areas instead of total randomness. You can switch off, of course, and keep the random aspect of the raids if you need them in the setup. No job authors. There were a lot of times when somebody almost finished, for example, a boot, then he stopped. And they put it away the unfinished boots, and nobody ever made it. It removes the owner of the maker, so anyone could continue the work. And I think the last one who finishes it decides how good it is. Optimization means another thing. No more huge amount of different stacks of meat for every animal. We have a lot of animals in this pack. We have just a general meat item, and every animal drops the general meat. general meat, general human meat, and general insect meat. That's we have now with this mod, and it makes things simple and the storage better. Doormat. You can make doormats, small and big ones, from leather kind of stuff, just like kitten and leather and things like that. And essentially, they catch the dirt you would bring into the room, a big percentage of it. So the room won't be so dirty. Chatting on comms is just a new fun activity. You can chat on comms and your recreation will go up. Smarter construction. You need this too. If you build with this, your colonies won't be stuck inside. They won't build around themselves, and even they can build in corners. So for example, if your colony stands here, he can build this block without the need to go out and build it from the other side. Stackable chunks. Chunks can be stacked. Unlimited. It's another unknown mod for me. It's a tech mod and makes the perfection of your body by technological means better. It has more options. We will need to explore this, of course. Harvest organs post-mortem. Used for those pesky dead raiders, beside making them undead, of course, and serving you. Smart medicine. They use medicine better. So, for example, if you just hit your knee a bit, they won't use glittervolt medicine, and they can tend patients in the field beside using minimal needed medicine. And I think they can use the medicine from the inventory. Yes. Xenobiotic Patcher. This is a mod which will look up all these different body parts you can put inside your colonies and animals and unify them together. Stabilize. Stabilize. You can stabilize your patient on the field. Maybe I don't need this with the smart medicine, because if I'm right, yes, 10 patients in the field. I will need to look it up, then I can remove stabilize mod. What is missing? If there is something missing from your recipe, it will show you. I clearly have enough. This is the same. If you put down something which you don't have enough, you will have enough. And as you can see in the picture, fine. Heat map. Another activatable overlay which shows you the heat of your rooms. Incident person stat. When you get a quest, somebody is chased by pirates and asks you for help, and if he or she arrives, soon bandits will arrive, but the person you rescued will join your colony. You can see their data. So, do you actually need them? You will see that the person chased is generally an evil person with annoying voice and ugly and the habit of beating up other people and setting your base fire. You don't want to rescue them. Pound target fix is just a fix for pounds that they will shoot at easy targets first. So more close targets, more often. Careful raids. It's an AI patch for the raiders, and I played with it, and maybe they are behaving more intelligently. Yes. So a hopeless situation, they will go away quicker, or they try to go around your carefully done traps and rather just mine out of wall or things like that. Garden resources. These are resource plants. Iron, let me see, silver, iron, uranium, gold, jade, and plasteel. Which sounds good, but you don't only need a high plant skill to plant them and harvest them. But after that, you need an even higher crafting skill to process, for example, the iron mushroom parts into actual iron. So it's not so cheaty, I think, because it's hard to achieve, and you need this to be able to survive scenarios when you are up in the space in a wrecked ship and you need to survive there. Okay, now there comes vanilla stuff, the core. I don't put in all of them because I have other mods for it. but the security module, which makes new traps and turrets, production module, which makes new machines and stuff, the power module, which makes advanced versions of your power generation and more. Books, you can write books about skills, and it's hard to do because you not only need the skill the books are about, but intelligence and sometimes crafting to write them. After that, there is enjoyment activity, reading of these books, and after reading, the relevant skill goes up, I think, by 30%, 0.3 or 0.4, depending how good the book was done. This is a big one. New item stuff, and all the insects will have their own factions. And be careful, if you consume royal jelly, and I don't want to spoil it, you can read it in the mod description on the page. And a settlers faction expansion, it really makes factions just like in the Wild West. And of course, more stuff, more good-looking stuff from the beginning of the industrial age, so it's meaningful and good mod. More events, more kinds and more event handling, and vanilla textures expanded with the mod expansion too. And there is a third one I'm just pondering for the genetic shrimp mod. So maybe later I will put it in, or you put it in and tell me about your experiences. Efficient utilities, smaller things don't consume so much energy. Met skills, these are not new skills, but a different way of skill handling. And I just made one modifications in the setup, no degradation of the skills. That's just my way of playing this game. More trade slots. Of course, it's configurable. I think I set it to 5 or 7. Synergistic traits, nice trait types and trait modifications. More immersive, more intelligent. Maybe those bad traits are not so bad in every way. Change caravan loading. When you load a caravan, there is this screen in a tab. And you can decide, okay, it would be too long, I don't want to pack this into the caravan. On the left side you need to load, on the right side which is already loaded, and you can remove meanwhile you are packing. So my new way of starting a caravan is that if I want to send my usual guy to mine on a neighboring tile by setting a camp and mining out the ore veins, I set up 3 people and a mule in the caravan. So those 3 people will pack the caravan, then I remove the unnecessary people, the 2, and it will be faster to pack the caravan actually. Faster smoothing, you can configure it, but I set it. I left it on the default. It's 3 times faster because it was an immense amount of time for smoothing. Craftsmanship. If a pawn has a passion about a skill, he will talk about it, and anybody listening may receive a small increase of that skill. Trade helper. On the trade screen, you will get a little more on the right side, which shows you that what are you buying and selling. You don't need to scroll to the original screen. It's pretty good. Perfectly generic item, another mod for people who are periodically taking out mods. If you remove a material, it will be transformed to this perfectly generic item. And for example, a glove made from perfectly generic item, or a sock or a boot made from a perfectly generic item. And if you take them apart, or you have in your storage a material which is no more, they will get transformed to this perfectly generic item. And I set it up in a way that after a few seconds it despawns. So it's really good for people who take out material mods. Quality builder, you can set up quality, and for example, this is a bed, and the bed will be continually built and scrapped and built and scrapped till they reach the specified quality. It's really good, and you can set up the how experienced the people need to be in that skill to build that. Quality surgeon, just like quality builder, the best doctor will be handling the hardest operations. D9 framework is a new mod, a new framework mod, which is needed for DocWord. And DocWord is fantastic. It rebalances and modifies a lot of things in the game. As you can see, open the windows, fertile fields, alpha biomes, refactory, metal batteries. It affects a lot of things, and I consider it good. Brain in a jar. If you have a brain, not you, of course, but maybe that raider whose brain you removed, then you can use that brain to make a machine which needs power, and it will give a small 6% bonus to your advanced research bench. Questionable ethics enchants. It's science, of course. You can use it with the genetic mod, I hope. And it makes you able to clone stuff, make mind scans, and insert those mind scans into other clones of creatures, and have special weaponry to go with it. Really good. Achtung! It originally seems to be a combat mod. So if you drag your group of colonies, they will line up instead of going in a clump, and they will remember their places they were last time. But the main thing I installed it, that you can force a job. You know, when you have a huge field which needs to be seeded, for example with corn, and you force a pound to seed it, that pound goes over there, just plants one core, and then goes away and do other stuff. With this, you can force to do all the similar jobs, so plant all the cornfields before you do other jobs. Run and gun, you can activate and deactivate your drafted pawns, so they can shoot while moving, but they have negative bonuses to their movement rates and their accuracy, which you can set up so it won't be so cheaty as it sounds. Compact headers. On the health tab, mainly on the health tab, your wounds will be better grouped, and you can see better if that immunity versus infection, how it goes. You will see it in the game. Auto links. This is really useful. Beside the wiki mode I mentioned before, in every place where is a crafting recipe, you get cross references in the info window, so you can see what will I craft exactly, or if you need to see the component it's made of, you can see where to craft that component, those kind of things. Used minified buildings. If I build a bed, if I give the order to build a bed, and I have a minified bed in my storage, they won't build it, they will use that automatically. And last, animals are fun. Another stuff you can do for fun and recreation. If you have a pet, you can play with it. And that's it. That's for the mod pack. That's all. Not so much mods and only a few big ones. So I think the next part will be where I will show the actual gameplay for you. So I hope this long rant of mods were useful for you. And if you know any mods which are better, any solutions which are better, or I just installed mods which are doing the same things, please tell me in the comments, either here in YouTube or on the mod collection page on Steam. Thank you very much. This was Normal69, and thumb me up if it's worth your time. Bye.